Hey again, welcome back to the big board. It's Christmas Eve. You may not see this at Christmas Eve, but you will know that it was recorded Christmas Eve. We're having a look at Across the NARVA, and it's from Revolution Games. Interesting thing about this little title is that it is like many of the recent Eastern Front gigs. It's that's come from Revolution Games. It's a Three Crowns edition game that was designed by Stefan Ekstrom originally, and it's been kind of reimagined and re-envisioned and reprinted. And so it's taking the situation around. It's set in the Baltic area in Estonia, which I had the fortune of going to one time, but could not drive out to anywhere near where this was all taking place, much to my disappointment, because it was pretty desperate fighting based on what I've read. So anyway, here's the cool thing about this game. Let's see who it's designed by again, because so it is a reimagining by the original designer, and Roger Miller is the developer, obviously enough, and Joe Youst has helped with the graphics, as has Randy Lean and Richard Handywith. So one of the challenges that I understand from a buddy of mine who's played this game before is that there are two sections of Russian forces coming onto the board, and they tend to get pretty much bogged down along the roads, and things get bound up very quickly, and it was not a particularly fun game to play. We have it on good authority from Stefan and Roger that is now not the case, and they have in some way, shape or form managed to mitigate some of these challenges here that my friend Pete had expressed. So what are we looking at? We're looking at a wonderfully muted tone map here. I'm going to try and tilt this down a little bit for you so you can see swamp terrain, woods, the typical rivers, and very thin roads and things here and there. And the green discs represent forces that are coming on for the Russians, right? The various corps. And the white crosses are general locations of where the Germans start out. So you're going to look at this turn track and you're going to go, hang on a second, that looks kind of similar to that other game that Kevin was playing the other day, and Königsberg. And you'll be right, because it's almost the identical system in that A, it's chit pull, B, that the number of chits pulled by turn will vary for each side. There are special chits for each side, but in this instance, where it's different from Königsberg, actually, did Königsberg have two cups? I don't think they did. No, they didn't. We separated them out at a certain point in the turn because we wanted to reduce the number of chits we were pulling out. So once the Germans pulled all the chits, we took all the German chits out of the cup and then just left the Russians in, so that we didn't have to deal with just pulling the same old chit 20 times. So anyway, everything goes, all the chits go in one cup. There are some games that I'm about to confuse this with, where both sides have their own cup for chits. Nevertheless, each side is going to get a certain number of activations, right? And you're going to see that Germans are never going to get more than 4. Soviets will never get more than 6. There are some special event chits that will impact that, and there are special activation chits that go in the cup and that don't count towards this total number. So there's a Wehrmacht chip, there's a KG chit, I forget what it's called, NARVA. I think it's actually called the KG NARVA chit. There's a Soviet Stavaka chit and all that sort of fun stuff. It's going to force attacks and things like that. So you're going to get lots of flavor and richness out of this game, arguably speaking, right? If all things go well. There's a prepared defense track over here that I don't have too much familiarity with right now. Your air boxes, and then the terrain chart over on this side, and your CRT. And you will see that CRT looks pretty similar to the Königsberg game. So where are our counters? We don't have any counters. We'll get to them in a second. We've got 11 pages of rules, and of course the counters are underneath the camera. So I'm going to try and pull them out of here very carefully. So you're going to have, like I said, 11 pages of rules. Pretty straightforward stuff. Well, it's 12 if you include the sequence of play on the back and the random events table, but it doesn't really count, right? So victory point count is pretty straightforward. I think this is going to be a fun game. It's going to be a fast player. Solo, it's obviously going to be great for solo play because you have the chit pull exercise. You've got nice clean cuts on these counters. They're well set. They're not too skinny. They are very loose in the sprue, as you can see here. I've only touched, this is the second time I've touched these, and they're already ready to fall out. You can like or dislike having the icons for the vehicles on the tank counters and the aircraft. It is what it is. We have the notion of being pinned in this game, which will be different. There are a handful of different and special rules in this game, and I'm not going to go through all of it because I haven't read all the rules yet. But my gut feel here is that this will conceptually and system-wise play almost the same as Königsberg, but based on my reading of the special command chits, there's going to be a little more randomness to it, and you'll probably end up with the approximation of the right historical result, just like we did with Königsberg. But you're probably as the Germans, you're going to be on the back foot the entire time, and that's just something you're going to have to get used to because it ain't 1941, fellas. So I thought I'd share this with you real quick. I guess we're calling this an unzipping because it comes in a Ziploc bag. I did not make the boxed purchase for this particular guy. Nice price on it as a pre-order, and I think Richard's done another great job here with this rebirthing of the game, and I'm excited to see how well it plays. I'll be playing this opposed if things all go well in the new year. And my buddy who's played this in the prior incarnation and the Three Crowns version, we will get his input and insight into the game as well, and how he thinks it feels compared to the original. All right, that's it for me. Look forward to talking to you soon. I hope you all have a Merry Christmas. I'm going to go drink that tequila over there. You guys take care.